हक की आवाज़। मैं हूं इमाम हाफिज इजाज़ अमन, सुनाऊंगा आपको प्रोग्राम आवाज़ हक में हक की आवाज़, हर सोमवार 11 बजे से 12 बजे तक, ओनली ऑन इंस्पायर FM 105.1।
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6 o'clock.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Live on Friday, the 2nd of May, 2025. I'm your host, Abdul Akbar. And guess what? We're beaming out to the good people of Luton and surrounding areas tonight, and also to the good people of Sheffield, Nottingham, Derby, Peterborough, and the Midlands through our partner stations across the nation. And indeed, we're also going out on YouTube and Facebook Live as we do every Friday evening. So welcome to all of you. And tonight's program is going to be action-packed because in a moment, we're going to be talking about the Gaza update as we do every week. The situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate as it has been for over the last 12 months. I'll be talking about that in a moment with my very special co-host, who's actually in the studio right now. Assalamu alaikum. How have you been? How's your week been?
Alhamdulillah, pretty good.
Week's been pretty busy, I've got to say. And also coming up on tonight's program, everyone, is something else as well, where we're going to be talking about the escalating situation in Pakistan. And we've seen all the news about that as well, so Fasab. It's looking pretty serious, isn't it?
It is looking pretty serious. It looks like India has kind of got itself into a bit of a bind in terms of a military action. It's given indications that it was going to take military actions. Now it's stuck basically without a choice. It has to do something because it has to do something military.
Hold that thought, because I want to get your analysis on it in a bit. But that's coming up as well, listeners and viewers. And also another interesting topic coming up tonight. If you haven't heard, Ambala was recently acquired by new owners that don't belong to the Muslim faith, and the social media wires have been going crazy on this one, Zafar Saab, where there are rumors that Ambala is no longer halal or is at the risk of becoming polluted with haram ingredients. We're actually speaking to the new owners of Ambala in about half an hour's time, and they're going to be on the line with us, and I'm going to be putting the questions directly to them. Is Ambala halal or haram? And are the rumors about cow urine being inside laddus and rasmalai true? I don't know. Let's find out the truth. We're going to be speaking to the owners.
Very good that you managed to get hold of the owners, to be honest.
Well, I respect the owners for turning up. Let's see what they have to say, and maybe we can dispel a few myths. Maybe they'll be proven. I don't know. We'll find out in half an hour's time. And also, we'll be finishing off tonight's program by talking to two white Muslims.
Indeed.
That sounds weird to say, but that's what they call themselves.
It's true. It's true. I think you have to, from our perspective, to say that you have to
It feels a bit weird.
Take a bit of a breath in.
Yeah, but I think.
Can I say that? Can I say that?
Can I say that exactly? But do you know what it is? Two white Muslims is what they call themselves. They are on YouTube as well. Some of you may have seen their videos. I think they've got almost 50,000 subscribers as well. So we'll be talking to two white Muslims in a bit. But on serious notes regarding the first topic, Gaza, I want to go on to that because Israel is actually continuing its strikes. And even just today, Al Jazeera is reporting a blockade has killed 43 people, literally today. Also coming out just now, is that the governments of Ireland, Austria, among others, have condemned Israel's 60-day blockade of Gaza. As Amnesty International terms the blockage of food and medicine a war crime. So this is Amnesty International, who are generally quite conservative about what they say regarding political situations. They've come out and said, listen, this blockade now is a war crime.
Yes, it's true. I think many organizations choose their words carefully when it refers to Israel. So come out with something like that. he's quite bold, I would say. Yeah.
Very bold indeed. And just being reported now, we're hearing that Lebanon's top security body, the Higher Defense Council, has warned Hamas against using the country's territory for acts that could undermine national security. So lots of stuff happening again in that region where there is just continued instability. But I've got to say, Zafar Saab, one of my highlights of the week was watching the Piers Morgan interview with a woman representing Israel, just watching these Israeli government spokespeople and how immune they are to they're just ignoring civilian life. They don't care how many Palestinians have died. And when they are questioned about Palestinian death and civilian death, they say, oh, but we're not targeting civilians. How can you not be targeting civilians if you're bombing a camp?
When you flatten entire areas, how can you not? But the thing is that they've actually, their narrative is Hamas driven. So everything is Hamas. They don't see human beings. They don't see people.
I think they do. But they choose to ignore them.
They see their particular act as being they're going after revenge against Hamas, and everybody in that region is Hamas to them, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a child or whether it's an adult, it's Hamas. So I think that's the tragedy of the whole thing is that they're looking beyond the human frailties. They're looking beyond the humanity of the whole thing, basically. And they are after one objective, which is to clear that place out of the Palestinians.
Here's the thing, though. Anyone, even if that argument was true, Zafar Saab, that they're looking beyond the civilian death toll and they're focusing purely, they're laser focused on going after the Hamas, quote unquote, terrorist targets, then the amount of civilian death we've seen, I would say, disproves that. Because if you think about it, we've seen, according to the Hamas run numbers, we know it's around 55,000 and going on to 60,000 now as the death toll continues. But Israel clearly has no standing now, because when you actually look at the situation right now and the number of people, the civilians that continue to die, to me at least, it seems as though this is intentionally targeting civilians as a policy when they are bombing.
It's quite clear. To be honest, the president of the United States has stated it. He wants that land cleared of Palestinians.
Yeah,
he's given the green
for a resort.
And he's given the green light to the government in Israel to continue to pursue. And this blockade against food items. Is intended to basically starve people out.
Yeah, I mean, Juliet Tuma, I'm quoting a UN spokesperson saying the siege on Gaza is the silent killer of children and of older people. These are civilians. So how can you stop food aid from coming into a country and not expect people to die? This is targeting killing. You may not be dropping bombs on them as much any longer, but the fact that you're starving them of food, you're starving them of essential items. We're not talking about luxury goods here. We're talking about stuff like rice.
Water has to be taken in by tankers.
Clean water.
From outside, right? There's no clean water. There's no, as far as I know, there's no flowing rivers in Gaza. Water has to be pumped out of the ground. It's salty seawater. It's not worth drinking. So water is being pumped out from Egypt and other places and tankered in. And if the tankers can't get in, people can't drink.
Anyway, that's the Gaza update. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. We're going to go straight to our next bit because we're going to shift slightly, we're going to shift to a tense and dangerous standoff that's been brewing in South Asia and Pakistan, effectively, and India, where reports of increased military activity, nationalistic rhetoric, and also growing paranoia are fueling fears that Pakistan and India may be heading towards direct conflict. So the question we're asking right now is a war looming? Now, joining us now, I'm very, very happy to introduce Mohammed Rajasab Mughal, who is a London correspondent for Geo News and the Daily Jung. Mohammed, he's a seasoned journalist. I've loved watching his reports, and he's been covering the region for years, and he's joining us right now on the line. Assalamu alaikum. Mohammed Saab, how are you?
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah. How are you? Nice to see you. And thank you very much for giving this platform to talk.
Listen, we're delighted to have you on the line and to join us. And obviously, this is on the backdrop of massive tensions really in the region of Pakistan, where it seems as though, and Pakistan has been indicating this, that they are expecting India to attack. And what's the latest on the ground, Mohammed Saab?
Well, at the moment, it's a tense situation. Since the Pahalgam issue started, they killed 26 people. I think that everybody condemned this action, whoever done it. But unfortunately, within half an hour, India straight away blaming to Pakistan. That's not right. Without giving any evidence, blaming to Pakistan within half an hour, that's ridiculous. That's whole Indian media that that criticize all these things. I think if you look other part in Pakistan, their media that is responsible, that says give evidence or anything you thinking that is happened, because Pakistan itself is obviously is long term that this kind of activity going in Pakistan, like especially in Balochistan, and they give a full evidence that Balochistan where the the terrorist attack carry on, this is by an Indian. And why they not talk about the Indian people, why they not do this? So
This is interesting. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. But one question for you, if I may, which is how are the Indian media and government framing the situation? Because I was watching Geo News, of course, you're familiar with that. And it's very clear how the Pakistani government is framing the situation. As you mentioned, the Pakistani government is saying, where's the evidence? Show the world and show us the evidence, please, Mr. Modi, because clearly, even until today, we haven't seen any evidence of the fact that they're claiming that the Pakistani state or even its proxies are behind this attack. I haven't seen any evidence. I don't know if you have. So what are the Indian government and how is the media framing this?
I think Indian government and media is both and it's one page anyway. This is like Indian government, obviously, they are media. Obviously, whatever the government says, they are like obviously in their side. So they never, of course, there are some people, even in military, the retired people, they condemn as well. They say this is a Pahalgam, this issue is wrong. It's obviously you blaming to Pakistan is not right. Yeah. In India, unfortunately, India every time happen, India blaming to Pakistan. I think to me, it's just making pressure to Pakistan. And if you see, like Modi state where is in this treaty, he just cancelled it. Everything was is just only this thing because it make to pressure to Pakistan. And behind the scenes, are going something else. If nothing happened, I don't think so. The war going on. If people thinking might be war going on. India and Pakistan always in the war about the Kashmir. If you see LOC, and every time obviously cross firing keep carrying going on, and if you see in the the Indian part of Kashmir, human violation every time is million the Kashmiri people being killed, millions the women being raped, and obviously these all stuff India talk about this Pahalgam. Why the world, the other Indian media talking about the the Balochistan when they do it. So this is I don't think so. This has happened like is a war. I think this is internationally. They try to put a pressure to Pakistan. They achieving something else.
Thank you for sharing that. Just stay there with us because I want to get Zafar Saab in on the conversation as well. Zafar Saab, you've just heard our guest there give the current situation. I mean, what are your reflections?
As I was saying in the intro, I think that the Indian government has actually got itself into a corner. They've actually gone for the military option as the first option, and the media has basically cornered them. So they have to do something, right, just to placate the media and the public. The public wants something. Probably wants something strong.
The Indian public.
The Indian public. That's right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, India has very few options. Right. If it sends troops over the border or the line of control, it basically risks losing troops, basically, right? And that's not going to be accepted to the public. Technology-wise, in terms of air war, in many ways, Pakistan's technology is superior to Indians, right? So if they were to send missiles over, or swarm of or drones, etc., what would happen is they will send them over. Pakistan would reply, and nobody will be the winner. So it would be a punch for a punch, and that's the end. Or unless one side chooses to escalate it any further. And the escalation part, I don't think either party would want to do. I don't think India or Pakistan want to go. So it's a question of who is prepared to give that first punch. Well, India's obviously going to give that first punch, but the thing is, they'll get a punch back.
Yeah,
and that's not going to achieve anything.
The thing is, everyone's expecting the Indians to retaliate, and there is that expectation. I guess the size of the retaliation is now what's in order.
So
right?
I think something along the lines of what Iran did, right, to Israel, send over drones and some missiles, etc. There'll be a pause for a day or so, and the Pakistan will respond, and then basically hopefully it'll be died down. Hopefully minimum damage. So damage will be done to Pakistani infrastructure would be least value, and vice versa. Not giving enough reason for either side to escalate beyond the initial step. So that's what I think is going to happen. But the thing is, what's tragic here is that this is a terrible incident, right? That happened. However, even bigger incident or more terrible incident happened in Balochistan, like correspondent said. A whole train was hijacked by this Baloch army people who are allegedly funded and supported and by Indians. There was an Indian spy caught in Balochistan who was in trial in Pakistan, and he's actually confessed to his activities in Balochistan. So the thing is, both sides are at it, right? Allegedly, both sides are sending their spies over. Allegedly, India assassinated a few people on Pakistani soil. That was taken to the United Nations, and nothing's come of it. So why, raise hue and cry over this incident as opposed to the one that happened in Balochistan, etc., in Pakistan?
Fair enough. That's a fair question. Let me take that back to Raja Saab, who's on the line right now. Thank you once again for joining us on the line, Raja Saab, because there's a really important point here as well, which is most of the world is concerned naturally of this escalating because both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. They are so-called nuclear neighbors. But the Indians are very proud of the fact that they have nuclear weapons, and so are the Pakistanis. However, the Indians are saying that the Pakistanis cannot afford to wage a war. I mean, and they often cite the value of the rupee against the dollar versus the Indian rupee against the dollar. And is this something at play here? Is Pakistan really in economical turmoil where even if India was to mark a gesture of an attack, Pakistan can't really afford the weaponry at the moment?
Well, at the moment, you just said, obviously, both nuclear countries and Kashmiri's flashpoint is both nuclear countries. Yes, of course, the war is obviously everywhere. If you see, like now the Ukraine war, and what happened economy in UK, even UK is not involved in this war, like an effect in the whole world. So war anywhere, even India or Pakistan, so of course they obviously damages both countries. But obviously the region where the Pakistan and India, like Saudi Arabia, South Asia, all countries, they affect more economy there as well. So I'm sure, the Saudi Arabia and other countries, they don't want to, let these wars because obviously stability is a need more important. India don't want to, this situation to lose his economy. So they only are just putting pressure into Pakistan because of America. See, America, obviously, they want to put a pressure was because is China. They all link up, is all chain up. They all, obviously, they all fight going on for economic war. So I don't think so, even though people thinking maybe war happening, if the war happen, obviously Pakistan will respond if it's strongly, like Zafar said, Pakistan have obviously is good missile and good, the things is more advanced India. So I don't
Sure.
think so. The war is happen. India know about this. If the war goes to happen, so how
Okay.
much that affect in the our country?
Gigi, thank you for that. Just stay there for a second because I've got another guest on the line as well that I want to go to. But Rajasab, stay there because I want to come back to you for your final remarks. We've got Kashif on the line, who's actually a local resident here in Bedfordshire, but actually is currently in Pakistan. And I'd love to get the situation from him on the line. Assalamu alaikum, Kashif. Can you hear us? You're live on the radio and online.
Walaikum salam. Yes, I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Kashif, so whereabouts are you right now in the country?
I'm actually in the Collar Senda area of Pakistan, which is actually close to the border, to be honest.
Okay, wow. So you're kind of in the Azad Kashmir region, is that right?
Yeah, basically, about 10 minutes away, 10, 15 minutes away. Yeah.
Maybe we can Zafar in the conversation as well. So you're around 10 minutes away from the border area. What's it like right now? And have you spoken to the locals? How are they feeling about the tensions with their neighbor?
Basically, I mean, first, I'd like to say, I mean, any loss of life is regrettable and tragic, and like Brother Zafar said as well. But obviously, we see the media here and in abroad, UK as well. They've all said about this attack. But when the Balochistan thing happened on the train, nobody batted an eyelid on that at the time, which was, I suppose you could say, far worse in terms of casualties. But nobody mentioned anything at that time as well, the media.
But tell me about what's happening now in terms of on the ground. Are you seeing signs of military? Are you seeing anyone gearing towards defending themselves?
We have seen pictures of military trucks and everything going on the roads, maybe going towards their stations and whatnot, towards the border areas. But to be honest, here, life is going on as normal. And there's no threat of war per se. Everybody's going on with their own lives. Nobody's really talking about war. Everybody's just carrying on as normal.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the situation with Ukraine. Everything was going on normal there until it wasn't. And suddenly Russia started to drop its bombs or take the action that it did. Hopefully it doesn't get to that position. Obviously, the Indian government would say, well, there's been a terrorist attack and it's attacked our civilians and we need to take some kind of action. And we're going to, as Prime Minister Modi also said, that we're going to identify who those people are and we're going to bring them to justice and use very strong terms, which may have incited the Pakistani government as well. So what's the local opinion about what's going to happen, Kashif? Since that you're on the ground right now, I'm very curious to know what local Pakistanis are thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The locals here say, bring it on. I mean, they're all ready for it. They're all saying, bring it on. To be honest, I mean, because we all like the guy from Geo Jung said. He said that the attack took place around about 1:20 p.m. And even before 2 p.m., they were blaming Pakistan already. They said, oh, Pakistan done it, like within 30 minutes, which is a bit far-fetched, to be honest. I mean, that's what the Geo guy said, and that's what they said here as well.
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable, right? Thank you for that, Kashif. I really appreciate your time for joining us on the ground in the region and just sharing what's happening locally. Really, really appreciate that. Thanks for joining us.
I just wanted to say everybody here is just calm. There's no real threat of war here. Life is going by normal. But if it happens, it happens. I mean, I just like to add on. Last time I was here, the Pulwama thing happened. So it seems like war threat is following me around. So
it's your fault. It's your fault. You're the one.
you're the
Pulwama, now it's Pahalgam. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I suppose there's a bit of you could say a threat, but life is going on as normal here. So everybody's not really concerned. Life is going on as normal.
Country needs more war. I think the world needs a bit of peace, and hopefully we won't see any escalations in that. Thank you, Kashi, for joining us. Let me quickly go back to Rajasab, who's on the line from Geo News, because I just want to get his perspectives before we close for the break. So just going to go back to Rajasab as soon as we've got the camera sorted out as well. We're on a double view here still. Woo! There we go. So Rajasab, your final. make sure. Raja Sahab, can you hear me?
Can hear now, then yes.
Oh, you can hear me now. Great. So, can you just share very quickly what you think is going to happen next? Do you think this will escalate into a serious situation?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Is going that far? It's like just said the guy, from Pakistan, says life goes on normal in Pakistan. Is nobody concerned about? Not like this is all thinking, because obviously if that's serious, the will obviously can see in country obviously the emergency situation, but there are no look like any emergency situation in Pakistan and either India. This just building pressure. That's all. Is nothing happening anymore. I think.
Sure, no problem. Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you for your time, Raja Saab, joining us, London correspondent for Geo News and the Daily Jung. We appreciate your time and look forward to having you on the program in the future, hopefully when it's more peaceful. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Listeners, this is Friday Night Live, and hopefully I can see the countdown before we go for break. You are tuned in, and in a moment, we're going to be talking to the new owners of Ambala. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam.
लुटन और इसके मज़ाफ़ात में नमाज असर का वक्त हुआ चाहता है.
This azan has been sponsored by Ideal Properties. Contact us on 01582 72 1110 or log on to www.idealpropertiesltd.co.uk.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Would you like to sponsor the Azan? If so, give us a call on 01582 481810 or email us on info@inspirefm.org.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to part 2 of tonight's edition of Friday Night Live on Friday, the 2nd of May, 2025. I'm your host, Abdul Akbar, and guess what? We're beaming out to the good people of Luton and surrounding areas tonight, and also to the good people of Sheffield, Nottingham, Derby, Peterborough, and the Midlands through our partner stations across the nation. We're also going out live on YouTube and Facebook, and I can see there are quite a few of you tuned in for the next topic, and I'm actually looking forward to the next topic because we're going to go straight onto it. It's a topic that has got local communities talking and social media buzzing, frankly speaking. Ambala Sweets, a beloved name in the South Asian households for generations, has been acquired by Cakebox Holdings PLC, and it was actually founded by Suk Chamdal. Cakebox has become a staple for egg-free cakes across the UK. I've tried them myself and definitely enjoy their products. But now, with the acquisition of Ambala, many loyal customers are asking, will the new owners stay true to the halal heritage and the Islamic heritage of Ambala? Now, adding fuel to the fire, unfortunately, are rumors online that the new ownership is not Muslim, raising concerns about whether halal standards will be maintained or compromised. Well, do you know what? At Inspire FM and here on Friday Night Live, we wanted to get to the facts and speak directly to the source. Lots of rumors online circulate. We know that being from the Muslim community, lots of fake news about us circulates all the time. And we reached out to the new owners, and guess what? They're on the line right now. Let me go ahead and welcome Suk Chamdal, founder and CEO, and also Dr. Jaswir Singh, also known as the Doc. He's also the CCO of Cakebox. Welcome. Good evening, gentlemen. Lovely to have you on the line. Let me first of all start with Suk yourself. Thanks for joining us. How are you this evening?
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting us on, and it's an honor to talk to you. And I'm very good. I love enjoying the sunshine.
Oh, lovely. Good to hear that. Delighted to have you on. And Dr. Singh, are you all right if I just call you the Doc, or how would you like to be called?
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having us on.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. Well, let me get straight to the point, gents. And we appreciate your time. And I really respect organizations and companies that come on this program and that represent themselves and just give us the facts. And so let me ask you directly, if I may, and can you give our listeners and our viewers a clear and honest statement, which is, will Ambala remain 100% halal under your leadership and your ownership?
Yes, absolutely. Right. We've joined the partnership of this company to protect its legacy, to protect its taste that we've been cultured over the last 60 years. And just like the Cakebox, we protect and we check every single ingredient to make sure it's pure vegetarian, to make sure it's free from any meat products, to make sure it's free from any alcohol, So we not only just check the ingredients, but we through the whole supply chain. And we can reassure all your listeners that there will be no change to the culture, to the legacy of Ambala, which has been built over the last 60 years. And we're so proud to be part of this journey with them.
Exciting. Thank you for sharing that. And what I've just heard from you is unequivocally, you will keep Ambala halal. You'll keep the food products that are consumed by people all over the UK who expect it to be halal. It will stay halal. And you're myth busting all the social media statements that are out there.
Absolutely. And Doc will confirm. Doc's been, in Luton all his life. And he's part of the community, and he can reassure. Doc, over to you.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a great brand. I mean, I don't know how many people know. We were absolutely astounded by the history of Ambala. Ambala is the 60-year-old brand. It was founded by Muhammad Ali Khan in Ambala itself. Ambala is a city 300 kilometers from Lahore. And he was born in Ambala city. And he went over after the partition. He moved to Lahore. And when he came to England in the 1960s and opened the shop in Euston, he had the love of some childhood memories to be able to call his shop Ambala.
Yeah.
And there must be a story behind that of some love for his childhood memories or some time that he'd spent. And there's a whole story behind there.
I appreciate that story. Thank you for sharing that. But let me ask you this question, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to get to the crux of the queries that people who are tuning in will have on their minds, and I'm
Absolutely.
sure they and check out the history as well. But we appreciate there is a legacy behind this that you want to maintain as well, and I think that's where you were going with that one. But let me ask you, either of you gentlemen, this question, which is, there are some concerns as well that this move that you've made to purchase Ambala is purely commercial. So how do you respond to critics who say that the spiritual and cultural legacy of Ambala will be diluted by having owners that aren't followers of the Islamic faith? How would you respond to those critics?
So if I can answer that, it's not about the owners, it's about the whole team that runs it. We have made no change. We intend to make no change with regard to the people that run it. It's a team of 170 people, and 90% is Muslim workforce, and it's the team that will carry forward the legacy. The team will look after the brand that we've built up. So it's the dilution won't happen by two people who are, and we don't own. We are shareholders, and there are many other shareholders bigger than us, financial institutions. Your listeners have got invested in institutions who have invested on the stock exchange. So it's not really about us. It's about the owners. It's about the culture and the whole team that's been working with it. And we really intend to emphasize that. I mean, in our shops, we have people speaking 40 different languages. So we're truly multicultural, and we respect. The biggest thing is we respect every religion. Every person must respect every other religion of the worker that's there. So,
and also, if I can add, that this was a competitive or process, and the owners of Ambala, they chose us over other bidders because they recognize that they acknowledge that we will be able to carry the legacy over. We'll be able to carry the legacy of Ambala forward, and they chose us as the preferred partnership because they were confident that we would carry on, make sure it's all halal, make sure that we carry on and we adhere to all principles that are in place.
Appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. And let me just go ahead and welcome all of our listeners tuning in right now. You're listening to Friday Night Live, and we're beaming out to the good people of Luton and surrounding areas tonight, and also to the good people of Sheffield, Nottingham, Derby, Peterborough, and the Midlands through our partner stations. Right now, we're speaking to the new owners of Ambala. They're on the line with us right now. They're live on the radio and also online, and we're delighted to be talking about, and it looks like we're myth busting as well, that a lot of the rumors that have been online about Ambala no longer being halal. Gents, I've even heard rumors, if I can come back to either of you, feel free to jump in, is that people who follow vegetarian principles, in other words, they only eat vegetarian food, which is fine. That's a way of life that people have chosen. And like you said, we should respect every individual's right to eat whatever they choose to eat, whether they want to eat halal or veg or non-veg, whatever that is. We should respect that as humans, as Muslims, as Hindus, as Sikhs, or whatever religion we choose to subscribe to. But people are concerned that members of the Hindu faith may use ingredients such as cow urine. Again, I don't mean to offend anyone who on the line, but there have been rumors online again circulating that the new owners of Ambala will introduce such a product or such an ingredient into the existing product. Do you want to respond to those?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
If I can say,
Let me tell it, Doc. Or it's it's just the principle of what they're saying is so ridiculous. We are BRC certified. We are so regulated. We have a primary partnership with the Enfield Council. Every single process is vetted, and it's ridiculous that something such stupid can even be considered.
How does that
right?
make you feel when you hear stuff
It
like
does.
that?
It really angers me that people are putting out these false rumors, and when there's livelihoods at stake, we are responsible for 2,000 jobs across our estate, and this country, when every single thing is regulated and every ingredient is checked, there's such ridiculous principles would ever be. Even think we are in fact from a Sikh upbringing. We're from the Punjab, and Doc, you can expand on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we had to look this up on Google. Does this happen? I mean, we had no idea about
Yeah.
this. We couldn't believe it, as most people wouldn't believe. Why would you introduce something like that? You'd have to be really, really indoctrinated. I think very old school to have even known about it. We had no idea. We grew up in England from the age of 7. We had no idea that this could even be thought of. I don't know where people dreamt this up from, but it is a very malicious rumor. I have assured people every time, and we welcome anybody to come and check whatever. And we have Muslim people working for us at every level, from making cakes, bakers, drivers, at head office, our accounts departments, our general manager.
I feel a bit embarrassed asking you that question, but I did
No,
want
it's
to
absolutely fine.
address it
But
because it's
you're right.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to address that directly head on. It's a malicious fake. It must be benefiting someone to do this, because it really, there's absolutely no base for this whatsoever. And I really want to go on record to say that. So thank you for the opportunity to clear that.
I think the best thing you can do is to go on record and just rectify or course correct people who may be spreading clearly fake news about your brand and the company you've acquired, and what it's going to do in the future. But what I've heard so far, gents, is that it's going to stay 100% halal. It's going to stay true to the Ambala legacy and culture and the Islamic principles that have been followed throughout the years. You have a 90% plus Muslim workforce. Many people probably didn't know that, which is amazing. Last couple of questions to you, if I may, is where do you see, because normally when organizations, companies acquire other companies, they have a vision for that company. So maybe you can let us in on some of the conversations you had with the sons of the previous owner when they sold that business, the Ambala business. Where do you see it growing? How do you see it, in business and industry, we say, how do you 10x? How do you achieve the next 100x or the next 10x? So maybe I can put that question to either of you. Where do you see it going in the future?
Absolutely. I'm a Halawai by trade, right? I've been the whole of my life. I've been a Halawai, and we always looked up to the Ambala brand, even though I had my own Matai shop. When Ambala opened up in my street, sales dropped by 50%. All right, and then Ambala lost its way. Then it started finding its way again, and I'm so excited now to bring in the new products. For example, we're going to bring in the 100% pure buffalo milk, 2-ingredient burfi, sugar, milk. In these times of ultra processed foods, we're going to bring our core collection in. So you can get the burfi, you can get the gulab jamuns, you can get the rasgulle, etc. as in addition. And then we've got all other exciting products come in. We're going to launch the Dubai burfi, pista burfi in the next couple of weeks. And I'm hoping to send you lot a sample so you can taste it on air and let us know what you think.
We look forward to that sample, and we know everyone likes the Dubai chocolate trend that's going around. I see Ambala is jumping in on the trend as well. Very good. That's amazing. And last question for you, Doc, if I may. And if anyone's wondering who Doc is, he is Dr. Jaswir Singh. He's the Chief Commercial Officer of Cakebox, and we've just been hearing the voice of Sukh Chamdal, who's the founder and CEO of Cakebox. So last question for you, if I may, Doc, which is about the whole thing about making sure that if you believe, some people are claiming that a non-Muslim company can't truly understand and preserve the religious requirements of a halal business. As CCO of Ambala, how will you maintain that and ensure that the entire chain from supply to manufacturing and being delivered to the customer remains authentically halal?
Well, as I said, it's embedded in our culture. The whole team is involved. The whole team is to know what we're about. It's not the secret. It's not something that we can accidentally get wrong. We are absolutely committed to making sure it's halal, it's vegetarian, it's meat-free, egg-free as well. And those are the things that we promise to the customers. And, one of the things you said, what is the vision? The vision is we want to better. We can always do better. Ambala has been great, but we want to make it even better. Better standards of customer service, better standards of products, new products, which for some time have been really stagnant. As Suk said, we've got new products coming in. And we want to infuse the team to make this a cut above the other mithai shops and a premium shop to come to. And one of the things that I think we proved with Cake Box as well, that with 97% of our shops being 4-star or 5-star rated, we want to bring up the standards, and we want to be out there on the streets to be known as a top Asian brand. And being a listed company, I think we owe that to our investors and we owe it to our customers. And that's what we live for. As you said, I'm a doctor, but I gave up for a retail business and I've been in retail all my life. I've had a halal restaurant before and people ask questions there also. But it's not me that was serving them.
Is that right? You're around the Luton area as well?
No, that was in East London. I actually live in East London.
Oh, okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we had a halal restaurant there.
Well, gents, I want to appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for, course correcting and answering those difficult questions. I guess they're not difficult questions now that you hear the answers. They're quite straightforward, right? So there you go. So Suk Chamdal, founder and CEO, and also Dr. Jazwar Singh, CCO of Cake Box. We really appreciate your time. These are the new owners of Ambala. Looking forward to maybe trialing that Dubai Burfi in the near future. Take care.
Once again, thank you very much for having us on.
Thank you so much.
And I ask all your listeners to keep an ear out for an event we're going to have. We're going to be giving a free mithai and free samosas in the very near future.
Listen, when it comes to free, our community will always be there. You should remember that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right. Listeners, this is Friday Night Live with me, Abdul Akbar, and also Zafar Saab is in the house as well. And just so that we can give our next guests the right amount of time and as much time as we can, we're going to go ahead and introduce him right now in a moment, because Zafar Saab, we've got some very special guests on the line, and that was an interesting conversations. But have you heard of the two white Muslims?
Yes, I have.
You've heard of the two white Muslims?
In fact, I've been up close with them as well.
Really? Is that right?
At an event.
I feel a bit weird, as we mentioned at the beginning, saying two white Muslims, but that's what they call themselves, and they are on the line right now. Let's bring them on right now. Here they come. There he is. There they are. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Calling my white brothers. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. And how about yourself?
How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah. We're doing great, but we're delighted to have you on. We've been really excited and looking forward to speaking to you, because we've seen your YouTube channel. Who hasn't in the community? And we've really enjoyed your content and would love to learn more. So we've got, in case anyone's listening, we've got Muhammad Yusuf Bashforth on the line, who converted to Islam almost 33 years ago. Wow, mashallah. And we've also got Junaid Rahim. Amazing, mashallah. And Junaid Rahim, who converted to Islam almost 23 years ago as well. So, gents, tell me this. Right. First of all, very quickly, I'm sure you've done this so many times before, but what inspired you to embrace Islam? Maybe in a nutshell, very briefly.
Yusuf, should we begin with a very quick introduction?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuh.
My name, as you rightly say, is Junaid Rahim.
And my name's Muhammad Yusuf Bashforth.
And when people see us together, they often refer to us as
the two white Muslims.
And I know just by looking at us, you've no idea why. I know you're wondering. Well, actually, there's three very good reasons why. Reason number one,
there are two of us.
Reason number two,
we're both white.
Most importantly, though, reason number three,
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, we are both
Muslim
and proud to be so.
And proud to be so.
Go on then, Yusuf, you start off. Where did it all go wrong?
Well, for me, it went wrong nearly 34 years ago now.
Wow.
So I was born and raised as a Roman Catholic. And I always thought that was mighty strange. Because first of all, I'm not Roman. I'm from Wakefield in West Yorkshire. So to call me a Roman Catholic was a bit weird. But there I was, a Roman Catholic, Catholic school, Catholic education, church every Sunday. My uncle was a parish priest. So I was very much a fully paid up member of the God Squad in the Church of Catholicism. Alhamdulillah, I felt really special as a child, you know. I felt really good about that because I not only had the love of two outstanding parents and a handful of siblings. I'm one of 5 boys. But I also had the love of God, which made me feel quite special as a kid. I was almost invincible, you know, because I had all this love coming from all sorts of directions. It was great. So it wasn't until I got to about the age of 18, and at about the age of 18, I started asking some rather more difficult questions, faith-based questions. And instead of giving me answers, they gave me a pat on the head and just said, "Oh, just have faith, son. Just have faith, son." And you know, you never know to look at me or listen to me, but just have faith, son, was not the right answer for me, because although I hide it very well, I am an intelligent guy, and the answer, just have faith, son, simply didn't cut it. So I found myself walking away from the institution of the church, but I never walked away from my faith in God. So it was about 10 years after that, I found myself working in an office in a town called Bradford. And you can probably guess the rest. Yeah, there were 1 or 2 mussies in that office. And I used to ask them the same questions or similar questions. And instead of the patronizing pat on the head, just have faith, son, they gave me answers. And amazingly, they gave me answers and then evidence to back it up. This is what the Quran says about this question. And this is the reference in our holy book. And if there wasn't a reference in there, this is what our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, this is what he would have said about it and talked to me about hadith. And you know, one day they gave me a copy of the Quran. I'll never forget that day. They said, keep it covered. When you take it home, put it on a shelf. Don't put anything on top of it. Don't put it on the floor. And before you open this book up to read it, make sure you have a wash. Make sure you're clean. And I was thinking, that's a lot of respect for a book. Amazing. Yeah. That's so much respect. So I took it on really carefully and I put it on a shelf at home and I left it there for about 6 months. And every day at work, it's, have you started reading yet? No, I was too busy. Well, what were we doing last night? Well, you know, Coronation Street was on. I can't miss that. I was inventing any excuse I possibly could to not read this book. But when I eventually did, alhamdulillah, I couldn't put the thing down. I couldn't put it down. The first chapter of that book, we all know how it starts. It starts with the words, in the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. In Arabic, it says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And then it goes on to Al-Fatiha. And I was ticking every line. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Tick. Yes, praise be to Allah, Lord of the whole of creation.
I don't want to interrupt you, brother, and your flow, mashallah. So we've only got literally 3.5 minutes left. So I want to ask you this question.
Junaid.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's gone. We need a whole hour with you, brothers, in the studio. We need to do a proper hour so we can dive deeper. Because I don't want to interrupt your flow. I'm so sorry to do that. But let me ask you this one question, which is, you both of you brothers, mashallah, just with that intro you gave, do a beautiful job of covering, I would say, what is a complex, what people would argue a hot topic of Islam today, which is quite sensitive amongst white people who don't understand Islam. And you're kind of breaking it down into an understandable, humorous way. I mean, what made you come up with this idea, very briefly, if you don't mind?
Oh, Junaid's the brains. He did it.
Well, no,
I'm just the good looks and the muscle.
I mean, just as we opened with, wherever we go, because we tend to be together, I spend an awful lot of time with Yusuf. I'm like a limpet. He can't shake me. He's been trying to shake me for 20 years. It's not going to happen. Wherever we turn up, people will just look at us and go, "Oh, it's those two again. It's those two white Muslims." So this label landed with us. We never chose that as a name. It's just what people called us. And many years ago, we just wanted to sort of give back to community and give back generally. You know, we were given the gift of Islam. Our lives changed in an instant. It was like Allah flicked a switch in our hearts. You know, 30 odd years ago for Muhammad Yusuf, 20 odd years ago for myself. And we just wanted to let everybody know how cool Islam is and that it's a beautiful, perfect religion. And so we just took this brand and leapt onto YouTube and you know, TikTok and the like, and just told people about Islam, trying to reduce or you know, eliminate the misconceptions about Islam. People fear what they don't understand.
Yes,
If we can help them
amazing.
understand just a little.
Yeah, mashallah. Brothers, I want to just thank you for joining us. We're going to book some more time with you, with your permission, and get you on properly so we can give you some proper justice. I feel like 10 minutes is just not cutting it at the moment. But Jazakallah khairan for joining us. May Allah bless you. Two white Muslims. Check them out on YouTube. They're amazing. Jazakallah, brothers. Thanks for joining us.
Bless you. Thank you.
Pleasure. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Listen, this has been Friday Night Live with me, Abdul Akbar, and Zafar Iqbal Saab. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.